Red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. Here's a top 10 songs with top 10 songs with colours in the title just for you. I'm glad I got. You know how long it took me to practice that?
You know, it would have been nice if you had given me a warning first before you did that.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I needed to be prepared for that.
You're not the first person to say something like that. Before we get into the pod, here are 10 facts. So first of all, 99 Red Balloons by Nena. Nena's guitarist, Carlo Carges, got the idea for the song at a Rolling Stones concert in West Berlin. At one point during the show, the band released a bunch of balloons. Carlo watched as one of those balloons drifted over the wall into East Berlin. Back in Black, AC/DC. This was released 5 months after lead singer Bon Scott died. The song is a tribute to Scott, and the lyrics, "Forget the hearse, 'cause I never die," imply that he will live on forever through his music. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. This song is about Winehouse's breakup with her then boyfriend, Blake Fielder Civil. They got back together and married in 2007. Number 4, Lady in Red, Chris de Burgh. Lady in Red was a huge worldwide hit, going to number 1 in 25 different countries. In the UK, it became a huge part of the cultural landscape, with listeners divided over whether... I've missed my bit. Over whether it was the sweetest love song ever written or a pile of treacly musical mush. Oh, I was doing so well. Number 5, Nights in White sat in the Moody Blues. The Dickies 1979 punk version reached number 39, and the Moody Blues used to use the Dickies version sometimes when they're doing their sound check. Nights in White satin. Oh, dear. Red Red Wine, UB40, was written by Neil Diamond. The lyrics sing the praises of wine and its ability to make you forget your problems. Diamond wrote another song about red wine in 1970 with Cracklin' Rosie. Right, Lisa, I'm going to break into this. Was it Cracklin' Rosie or Cracklin' Rose?
It's Cracklin' Rose.
Thank you. Fucking internet. Silver Springs, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks got the idea for the title when she saw a sign for Silver Spring, Maryland, while driving with Lindsey Buckingham. The name was, to her, so beautiful that she wrote it in the song. And White Flag Dido. In battle, a white flag signals surrender by stating there will be no white flag. Dido indicates she will not give up on the relationship. Oh shit, wrong one. Oh, what a start. Number 9, Yellow, Coldplay. The band came up with the line, "Look at the stars, look how they shine for you." After looking up at the night sky, they were recording at Rockfield Studios in rural Wales, where Queen famously recorded Bohemian Rhapsody in 1975. Yeah, they were all yellow. And finally, at number 10, Golden Brown, The Stranglers. The song originated when keyboardist Dave Greenfield experimented with a musical passage. While Greenfield perfected the synthesizer harpsichord backing texture, Hugh Cornwall wrote 10 minutes worth of lyrics. He cut them down to fit the song. Never a frown with golden brown. Jesus, that has got to be one of the...
Well, is it too late for me to decline doing this? This might really impact my reputation as far as doing shoddy podcasts.
Well, I mean, you're talking shoddy podcasts, and obviously anyone listening to it, you've come to the right place. Although we don't have shoddy guests. We may have shoddy production value and my shoddy work. Neil, come back as quickly as you can. But shoddy guests we don't do, and especially today, because, ladies and gentlemen, we've got lovely, lovely Lisa all the way from America, and it's lovely to see you once again, Lisa.
It's nice to be seen, although last time I saw you, I prefer that. I
absolutely preferred that, because let's give him a little bit of a backstory to that, because we actually, we actually got to touch each other, didn't we, Lisa?
And touching hands. Yes, we did touch each other.
It was a real, with things that are coming up in the summer. Two things that I can think of, which are gonna freak my brain out. It is, but Lisa and Maria and Brandon and Adam, is it Brandon's brother?
And Matt. Yeah, Brandon, Matt, and Adam. Adam, that's right.
Adam and Matt all came to where I live, and they went and had something at a lovely Thai restaurant before I did a bit of singing. And walking into that room, it was so emotional. I got really emotional because it's weird. And I said to you guys on the night, I'm just used to seeing you with a box around your head because I've seen you on a screen. So seeing you actually there, and please, any of you, if you get a chance to go out for a meal with Lisa, just be prepared that you're going to get a lot of people looking around at the other tables because Lisa has no volume when she's
no filter.
And no filter.
No volume control, no filter.
And what was it we were talking about? I have no idea, but it probably had something to do with sex.
It did. And there was a certain term, wasn't it? What was that certain term that you'd never heard of before? Oh, it was one of your terms.
Yeah, exactly, and I can't remember what it was now.
No, I can't, but it's going to pop up. And if you just scream it out when you remember it in the middle of the podcast.
But it was the fact that, like, Lisa was, I can't even remember, I honestly can't remember what it was now. I'm sure Maria or Matt, if they're listening to this, are going to be going, well, Brandon, you know what it was. But everybody, I could see everybody in the other tables in the restaurant, their heads was cocked. Did she just say that? Because Lisa's saying it like she's saying hello. She's just sort of saying it out. It was so funny, and it was such a fun night. It was just, and again, being in the little pub club that I was singing at and seeing you guys having so much fun, genuinely made it hard for me to sing because I was getting so emotional. It was so lovely. It really was.
Well, and Paul, you said it was emotional for you. It was as emotional for us.
Was it? Oh.
The minute you walked in, I mean, I did everything I could. what's that word for clunked? I did everything I could to hold back tears because it just seemed like, it was meant to be that we have this kind of connection, and it just made it all the more special. Now, about the box around my head, I have some former boyfriends that prefer it that way. But oh no, that's a bag. Sorry.
Oh dear me.
But it was magical for us, and I, one of those things, you do something like that, and you want to recreate that moment over and over again, and you never will be able to.
No.
So I'm just letting it linger. I mean, we're going to come back and see you, and I know I'm going to see you this summer. And
it's going to. But that's what I mean. It's like that was only 4 or 5 of us. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm going to be meeting a few lovely people when I go to Orlando in a few weeks' time.
Right.
And then in the summer, I mean, I've only got in my head what I think it's kind of going to be like, but I think it's going to be more, it's just going to be crazy. And like I said to you, I think that everyone's going to be so disappointed when they see
it. So I have to tell you that you're the draw.
Well, then,
which is really
Christ,
interesting.
It's going to be such a bad night if I'm the draw. I honestly. But we'll have
voice that melts butter or something like that. That's what they're saying. But as opposed to a face that melts icebergs. No, that's different. But I want you to know that really, when we put that in there in the comments that we were starting to get, people weren't asking about the band that's going to be playing, which is a phenomenal cover band, an 80s cover band called Reflex. I've been to them, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was, are you serious? Pop's going to be there? I won't miss Pop. There's no way. And so this is a big deal. You're a celebrity in the Teabagger universe, and nobody needs to know what Teabagger universe is.
I'm not going through that again. No, we don't need to explain that anymore. I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to literally let that hang.
Damn it. Where's my bell?
Have you got your bell as well? No? Okay.
I don't have a bell.
Okay. But anyway, so I mean, we
digress.
There will be stuff on our social media about the summer, and it's going to be amazing. But that's not the work for today. The work for today is we're going to work out our top 10 songs with colours in the title. So
We are.
how hard or easy did you find compiling your top 10? Say compared to your 70s songs, how hard or easy was it? Was it easier or harder than compiling your top 10
I'm
70s
going to
songs?
tell you, it was a little more difficult. I had so many more songs than
Really?
I thought I would. And, then you go on the internet, you kind of get reminded, you're like, oh my God, that song. And oh my God, that song. And
Yeah.
plus the songs that you listed at the beginning of the podcast, more than half of those were songs I considered for my list. And so this time when I compiled my top 10 and I had to eliminate songs, I kept thinking to myself, it's okay. You can put that on your honorable mention. You can
Yes.
put that on your because, I've just determined that I have one. But it was a little bit difficult. Then the other thing I noticed when I compiled my list is how diverse the songs are from different eras in music. I'm going all the way back with my number 10, all the way back to just 10 years ago. So it was really, but it's been fun.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah, I was surprised because I thought to myself, God, I can't really think of many songs with colours in. And like you say, you start going into Google and you go, oh my God, of course, there's that one, that one, that one.
Yeah.
There's so many classic songs, and it's just been something that I've actually rediscovered a few songs that I absolutely love from doing that, which is one of the beauties of doing this kind of podcast, because you just find these little nuggets that you've forgotten about or never knew about. So it's going to be interesting. With the way that the podcast has started, I'm really worried about the quiz today as well, because I'm doing something a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
No shit. You can say shit. Don't worry. I mean, Christ, I said fuck right at the start. So don't worry about it, Lisa. that ship has sailed.
I forgot about the quiz. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I should grab a glass of wine. I do much better on quizzes when I'm drunk.
If you want to grab a glass of wine, by all means do that. By all means do that. Okay. Right. So let's go with your number 10 and let's see where we get to.
And are you curious at all how many songs we each have in common on the list?
I will be I reckon I'm going to go for I'm going to have a little bit of a guess, and I reckon that we're going to have 3 the same.
Okay. I'm going to say 5.
Okay. I'm going to make a note of that and see who gets it.
Let's make it's a new contest.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Woohoo! Make that Lisa's rule, okay?
Okay, I will do. Lisa, that'll be Lisa's challenge every week now. We'll do Lisa's challenge. Oh, that's a great idea. So Lisa's challenge. I'll make a note of that. Okay.
Okay. So number 10.
Number 10.
La Vie en Rose.
Oh, okay.
By Edith Piaf. That's a song from 1945.
Wow.
And, when she wrote that song, her manager, nobody wanted her to record it. They thought that it was a terrible song for her to perform. And then she finally did one night in some club in Paris, and it turned out to be her signature song. So one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting, in 1948, over 1 million copies of it had been sold, and it was number 1 in Italy, of all places.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Not anywhere else in the world, just in Italy. And then Bing Crosby was one of the people that covered it. And he released a French album. He sang the song in French and released an album called La Bing.
Ah.
So haven't heard it. But, when you go and listen to all the people that have covered it, of course, you have to have your heart there with Edith Piaf. But I think Louis Armstrong is probably my favorite.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because his performances, in a lot of contemporary films and probably films from, that I know that I'm more familiar with than in 1945. But anyway, La Vie en Rose. Yep.
Anybody that doesn't know this song, or that's a bit of a movie geek, all I would say is the final scene of Avengers Endgame, where Captain America goes back and has a dance with Peggy Carter. This is the song. So I didn't know the song. I'd know the name of it. As soon as it started, I thought, oh my God, that's the song from the end of Avengers Endgame. So there you go. So anybody that doesn't know it.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I think it was in the movie French Kiss, maybe,
Okay.
with oh God, people that I don't remember. So anyway, we can move
I
on.
think
But that's my number 10.
wasn't that Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
There you
So,
go. No problem at all. Great start. So I take it that's because it's rose, is it? Is that the color?
yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And actually, the song rose, I guess, in French means pink.
Ah, right. There you
So I
go.
don't know what that means.
There
But
you go.
anyway, just throwing that out there.
That's a great start. At least I know it because of the Avengers. That's the thing. Even though it's 1940s, I get it from a movie that came out like 4 or 5 years ago. So
maybe we do that on one of your podcasts, the top 10 songs from the Avengers series.
we could easily do that.
I'm here to help you, Bob.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Okay, my number 10 was one that I mentioned in the facts, and I've got a bit of a sort of affinity to this song, and it is Lady in Red by Chris de Burgh. Now, do you know this one, Lisa?
So there was a movie with Gene Wilder, and I can't remember who the gal was.
Kelly LeBrock, I think it was.
Yes.
It was Woman in Red, it was called, but I think they used this song, didn't they?
They used that song when she was dancing in front of the car.
That's right.
But yes, I'm very familiar with the song. And I like the song, and it came up as one of the songs that I would consider on my list.
Right.
But it didn't make it.
It didn't make it. So the weird thing about this song is this was the very first song I ever sang in public. So there was a bar stroke nightclub in the town that I live in. And it was kind of like, what would it have been? 1991. Jesus, so what's that? 30,
I was barely born.
33 years ago, and I was assistant bar manager there, and they had a karaoke competition, but it was one that was going to be all around the country, and then people that won the heats ended up going on TV to sing it and see who was the best karaoke person. Now, we had one of the heats in our bar, and I always find it weird because like the managers put me up to, you should go and sing on it. And amazingly, I won the heat. Now, it wasn't because I was wearing like a T-shirt with the name of the bar on it. And I'm sure they thought, we can get them on TV and it's free advertising. And I something happened and I ended up not going into the next leg. I can't remember what happened. But yeah, so I was there in the bar singing Lady in Red. And it was the very first time I'd ever sang actually sort of live in front of people. And it was kind of weird because I always thought, I wonder if I can sing or not. So to do that was a very big sort of confidence builder. But then I also felt
Why did the bar think that you could sing? Had you been singing behind it,
no,
or
I think
you just?
I used to record songs that I'd written in my like in my bedroom and stuff, and I think I brought a tape in, and a few people had heard it. So I think, but then we'd had some karaoke nights, and I think I'd sort of got up there and sung a song. But this was the first time I'd sung properly, like a performance, if you like, because anybody can get out and go on a karaoke and be pissed up and sing, but
that's right here.
Dear. But it's so that kind of I have an effect, and I do like Chris de Burgh. There's a few of his stuff that I really like. There's a lot of his songs that I like, but I thought I had to put it in there because a little bit of affinity to it. So
well, it has a place in your heart. Plus, it's a great song.
It does, absolutely, and I think it's a bit unfair when people say that it's classed as a little bit like mushy, and it's just a great love song. It's just a really good love song. Okay.
Nothing wrong with mushy.
There's nothing wrong with mushy at all. Okay, Lisa, your number 9, please.
So number 9 is Gold on the Ceiling by the Black Keys.
Okay, right. I don't know this one.
Yeah, it's definitely not in any Marvel film.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're not familiar with the Black Keys, I wish Neil was here because he'd be slapping you around a little bit. Oh, yeah,
he would be, yeah.
But familiarize yourself with them because they're pretty good band. It's a duo, actually.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard the name of them, but I wouldn't know a single one of their songs if it came up and smacked me across the face. Or would I?
Yeah,
Are they one of those kind of bands that if I started listening to them, I think, oh, I know that one. I know that one.
yes,
Right.
definitely. And this is probably one of their, I mean, this is a hit of theirs, but it's probably more obscure than some of their other songs that you would probably recognize.
Okay.
It's a duo, Dan Auerbach and something Carney, Patrick Carney.
Okay.
So they were friends like from 8th grade. And Dan Auerbach was pretty certain that he wanted to go into a career of music. And they both went to college together, and then they both dropped out at the same time. And Dan was playing in little pubs and bars and things like that, trying to get a name for himself. And he realized that he needed a demo.
Oh, right.
And Patrick happened to have the ability to put together a demo. So he reached out to him and asked him, and Patrick said, yeah, I'll do that for you, but you have to recruit all the musicians. I'm not going to do any of the work on this. So he did. He recruited the musicians and showed up that day to do the recording of the demo, and none of the other musicians showed up.
Oh, dear.
And that's how they got started. The two of them decided to jam that day, and that's how they became a band, because no one else showed up. So, and another thing that I thought was kind of interesting, not anything relevant to the song itself, but the way that they got the name The Black Keys was that their parents had a friend who had schizophrenia.
Oh, right.
And when he was upset at anybody, he would call that person a black key, and in reference to the piano keys.
Right.
As a D flat is specifically what he was referring to. And I thought, boy, that kind of nails it on the head when you see somebody that you're not happy about. That guy is such a D flat. So that's where it came from. But the song was released in 2012.
Right.
And it's a bop.
I'm gonna definitely. I've heard so many people talk about the Black Keys. They're great. And again, I've got one of those feelings that they'll be a bit like Crowded House. It's like not everyone goes, oh, I've never really heard anything. And then you start playing songs by Crowded House and you go, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. So I've got a feeling that the Black Keys will be like that. Like a lot of their songs will probably be used in sports things, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a little listen at that one. Another one to add to the list, as they say. Okay, my number 9. I'm going to go for Billy Idol and White Wedding.
Okay, that's my number 7.
No! Oh my God, that's the first one. That's the first one. Where is it? Come on, play White Wedding. There's something about Billy Idol. I mean, I saw a picture of him. He was there's a UK advert where somebody's talking about rock and roll. And all of a sudden, all these old rock and rollers, like there's Kiss and there's Ozzy Osbourne, and they're going, that's not rock and roll. And then Billy Idol turns up, and I thought, Jesus, he doesn't look any different. So when I saw him in the 80s, he looks exactly the same. I know.
I saw him last year, Pop.
Did you?
I saw him at Cruel World. I managed to, push my way up to the stage. His granddaughter was on the stage, little toddling around. But he looked astonishing.
Yeah.
I still would have done him.
I would have as well. I mean, I don't care. I was so surprised. And to be fair, this song wasn't in my top 10 till I think I saw that advert, and I thought, oh my God, so there's White Wedding. I've got to put that in. Yeah. Because again, you talk about bops. I mean, this is just a great rock song. And he always had that thing that he did with his I can't do he had that thing that he could do with his lip. I can't do it. But he's and a lot of his other stuff. Hot in the City was great. Moni. What was the other big one that he had? I can't remember now. But yeah, he's just got. I don't know a lot of his stuff, but when it comes to songs with colours in, I thought I got to put it in there. And it's weird that
gotta be on the
it
list.
goes in there, and it's your number 7. So
my number 7.
That's it. We've got one the same. So you obviously you must be. Did you go to Cruel World to see Billy Idol, or was it?
Well, he was definitely a draw. I mean, Cruel World within itself is a draw, and that happened to be Susie's first North American. Susie and the Banshees' first North American tour in 17 years.
Oh wow!
I mean, we can talk about it another time, but that it's an opportunity to see all these 80s bands. I'm going again in May with a few people. Adamant will be playing, Duran Duran will be playing,
Nice.
Soft Cell will be
Oh,
playing.
wow.
But definitely for sure, Billy Idol was a draw for me. And I've seen him a bunch of times. I still love him.
Yeah.
I still love, and you're expecting when you see somebody his age, right? So he's probably about 8 or 9 years older than me, maybe 7 years older, 6, something like that. When you see somebody his age perform, as you do with all these 80s bands that are at Cruel World, you're expecting him to be slower. You're expecting him maybe not to have range.
Yeah, yeah.
And definitely not to be sexy still.
And you still got it all.
And I'm putting it all out there. He checked every box for me. Not the box, but all the rest of the boxes.
So not quite every box. I am waiting for that moment when I see someone scuttling behind you. I'm kind of counting on it.
Great.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen the video that for this song White Wedding that he did?
I have.
It's
not for a long time now.
For a long time. So his girlfriend at the time, I think her name was Peggy Lister, maybe Peggy Lister. Anyway, she played the bride in the video.
Right.
And there's a scene in it where he puts a barbed wire wedding ring on her finger.
Okay.
And in the process of putting it on the finger, it cuts her knuckle and blood comes out and everything. And she insisted on leaving it in there. She thought it was more realistic.
Right.
But MTV didn't like it. It was too violent. So they banned it for a while from MTV, from playing on MTV.
What a bunch of squares.
Jeez, and now look at it, things today. Hello?
Exactly. Exactly.
Come on.
I will put the video obviously on the video playlist for our Patreon top heads. So so we'll do that. Okay, so let's have your number 8 then, please, Lisa.
Number 8. Okay. This song was written in 1961 by Roy Orbison.
Okay.
Okay. And most people, probably top heads, would recognize the song when it was re-released and covered by Linda Ronstadt.
Okay.
In 1977.
Okay.
And the song is Blue Bayou.
Okay. So is it the Linda Ronstadt version that you prefer?
So I'm going to tell you, in researching, and sometimes when I'm putting these lists together, I'll put a playlist together with all the songs I'm considering, and then the ones that pop in my head the most are the ones that generally make the list.
Yeah.
Roy Orbison's version is pretty good.
Right.
I mean, it's his song. He wrote it, so he wrote it for his from his perspective and from his advantage. But it's pretty good.
Okay.
And I think that Linda Ronstadt resonates because this was her signature song.
Oh, right.
This really is what threw her up on the charts. She re-recorded it again, and I think 78 she re-recorded it in Spanish. So I think it's obviously had much more exposure. But side by side, I kind of feel Roy Orbison might be it. But I love him.
Yeah, yeah.
So... but I don't think you can top her version as well.
Right.
Is there room in my life for both of them? There is.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I'll put both versions in the video playlist for definite. Yeah. There's something. I mean, is there anybody that's got a more pure voice than Linda Ronstadt?
No. I mean, you hate to say the word angelic. But I mean, but it has that kind of vibration when she's singing. I mean, it's one of those songs that you feel. And I just appreciate that so much about her styling.
Yeah.
Kind of interestingly, she was influenced by Edith Piaf, who we talked about in number 10. That was one of her biggest influences. Wow. And then a fun little fact, I always call him my stepfather, but he's not. He's more like a father figure in my life. And he was good friends with her father.
Oh, really?
My stepdad sold, construction equipment and pumps and things like that. And Linda Ronstadt's father was one of his customers, regular customers for a long time. So he's known her since she was a little girl. I don't think they've talked in many, many, many years, but he still thinks about thinks about her fondly that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So
She's still around, isn't she? Is she still performing? Or
she's not performing. I think about maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, she was diagnosed with some type of palsy disorder
oh right.
that is preventing her from performing anymore. I mean, she's still making public appearances, and she released a cookbook and things like that, but she's not touring or anything like that
Oh,
anymore.
well, that's a shame. But yeah, such a great voice. Such a great voice.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Okay, so my number 8, and I'm not being very colourful at the moment. I've already had White Wedding, which is the brightest of all colours. I'm now going for the darkest and the brightest of all colours. I'm going for Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Oh God. Okay,
Now,
it's not on my list, but it almost made my list.
And this I feel was Michael Jackson at his. I mean, wow. Would you call Thriller his peak, or would you call Bad his peak? This was kind of like him getting back to the top, I think, because it was a song that I can remember when it came out, and it had this 15-minute video, a bit like Thriller. It was like this. I think John Landis did the video, and it had this amazing bit at the end where people were morphing into each other, and it was just. The song was just the thing. It's just got such a good groove to it. It got a great like rhythm section to it. The guitar is fantastic, and it was just it came. I honestly can't remember what album it came from. Was it the History album? I think I can't remember, but it's such a great song, and it had to be in my top 10.
I mean, it definitely was on my list, considered going back and forth. But you want to know what took it off my list?
Oh my God!
And this is just. It's nothing. It was just, there's other things, but it's not what it was. But I selected a version to put on my playlist that has this huge talking point in the beginning.
Right.
Like this kid's talking to the dad, yelling at the dad, and I want to play that. And the dad's yelling back before the song ever starts.
Yes.
And so, it riled me up a little bit. And I was irritated by the time I got to the song. So that's why it didn't make my list, but it was on there.
That's
such a great song.
That's from the video, because it was Macaulay Culkin and George Wendt from Cheers. Was the little boy and the dad, and he's going, he said, turn that down. He said, yes. And he's bouncing around like the young Macaulay Culkin did from Home Alone. But that had to go in there for me. So that was my number 8. Your number 7 was White Wedding.
Correct.
So my number 7, I'm going to go for a song from the Peter Gabriel So album, and it's called Red Rain, which is, I think, if I remember correctly, is the first song off the album. And that album is one of my favourite. I think it made my top 10 80s albums, is the album So by Peter Gabriel. And this is the first song from it, and it's just epic. And I've never seen Peter Gabriel live, but I can imagine... I don't know whether he starts with this, but this is the sort of song you can imagine him starting with. It's just epic and big, and I just love it. I don't know whether you know that song or know this album.
I'm trying to listen to it. I'm sure I know it. I mean, I adore Peter Gabriel, so yes, yeah, of course,
yeah. So again, Peter Gabriel does nothing wrong in my eyes. If there's any top 10 I can do where Peter Gabriel can slip in there, I'd gladly do it. But
yeah, I'm all for slipping in. But
I'll ding that even if you won't.
I don't have a bell.
Oh, you gotta get one. I'll tell you what, Lisa, I will bring you a bell in the summer. Okay.
Okay.
That will be my present to you. Will be your own bell for you to ding all night long.
And I'll tell you what, I will ding all night long.
Bet you ding my bell all night long. There you go.
Peter Gabriel is just amazing, right? I mean, but when you start looking at this list of all these people, you're like, God, some of these people, I mean, how do they have this much talent? And how do they have the ability to express it so well? And how do they have and I just keep going on and on, because when you start to read about how they started and how long it took them and who they met, you're like, God, how does this happen?
Yeah.
But I guess, I remember, you can't put a lid on talent.
I remember saying to a previous guest on an episode before Christmas, was like, you think of all those people that have made it, yet there are all those people that are equally as talented that just don't get that little opening in the door that they're able to walk through. And you probably haven't even heard your favorite song of all time because it's out there somewhere with somebody that just didn't bother going to a pub at that particular time, or didn't do that gig, or didn't take that meeting, or just those sliding doors moments that changed someone's life. So instead of it being Peter Gabriel, it was Sam Johnson from over the road that was going to be hit. It's just mind-boggling when you think of the thousands of people that try and do it and are just as talented that just don't. I mean, you must see that in somewhere like LA or in California. Everybody are trying to make it, aren't they? So, I mean, this is the thing, that the band that's going to be there on the night that, you know, that we're going to get together. But I'll look at them and I'll go, Jesus, why aren't you fucking famous? Well, this is crazy. Yeah. And there must be bands like that everywhere in California.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to say a dime a dozen, but you can walk into anybody that has live music around here and find somebody that you're like, God, these people should be touring. These people should be, you know, bigger than they are. I mean, you look at these shows like The Voice and shows like that, and you're like, God, this is like untapped. And you have these people, so many people go through and don't get the recognition. And you're like, God, but that person. So I went to see Pink perform this summer. And she's unbelievable. She makes me cry every time I see her. She's just stunning. Plus, she's genuine. Yeah. You know, she's genuine, and I just adore that. But Brandi Carlile opened for her. So I've heard Brandi Carlile. I've heard a few of her songs. I know she had a lot to do with Joni Mitchell kind of coming out of retirement and touring. You know, but I didn't really know her from Adam. Didn't even think I really liked her. But she was there, and it appeared to me in the audience there was a big draw to see her. You know, mostly lesbians, but that's a different subject. But I will tell you, when she was done, I'm like, why has she not been on my top 10 list forever?
Yeah,
she was, and so, you know, I was forced to be exposed to her basically because I was at Pink, and that was almost a gift. You know, and I know for sure that I would go see her now if she was touring. If she's touring on her own, I'd make a point to go see her in concert. She was stunning.
Yeah.
Playing in a bar. That's where she was found, playing with these two guys that are twins that play the guitar. And that's where she got started, just playing and writing songs in bars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah.
Well, one thing I do know is that we all like a bit of Pink. I'll ding that.
Ding. I don't have anything to ding.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so you're number 6 then, please, Lisa.
Okay, so I'm starting to have doubts about you and I having 5 things on the list, because as I get to some of these songs, I know, like, well, maybe this song anyway. The rest of them are songs that probably you might not be as familiar with.
Okay.
But this is Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden.
Right, okay.
And, you know, first of all, Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
You know, I think within a very short period of time, we lost Eddie Vedder. No, wait. Chris Cornell, Prince. Sorry, I'll think of the third guy. Another guy. We lost another guy that year.
Yeah, wasn't it Chester Bennington from...
Chester Bennington, yeah. And, you know, it was like, and David Bowie was in that near proximity. That's and so it was like bang, 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 bang. And you're like,
George Michael as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, those are all still heart-wrenching. Yeah. Those, if you throw Anthony Bourdain into the mix, then, you know, that was like devastating. Chris Cornell was a talent. And that one really bothered me, you know, when he passed. I have lots of music by him that I listen to regularly and always have. But Black Hole Sun is one of them. And the interesting thing about it is he was recording it in a little town in Washington State called Woodinville. And he was driving back home to Seattle, which is where, you know, that kind of music has roots, you know, Kurt Cobain and all of that. And he just wrote it while he was driving in his head, about a 40-minute drive. And then when he got home, he whistled it into a dictaphone so he could remember it. And then he put the lyrics together, and then he thought his band would never like it.
Oh, really?
And so he gave it to his band. They played it, and it became one of the top songs of the year it was released, which was 1984. It spent 7 weeks at #1, finished the year as the top rock track of 1984, top 10 in Australia, Canada, France, Ireland, and Iceland. And that's pretty amazing for a song that he wrote in his head and didn't think anybody would like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of him in a nutshell, though. It's kind of that tortured artist kind of thing, where he's just lamenting about writing this song that turns out to be one of their biggest hits. So yeah, love that.
Good one. Not on my top 10, I must admit.
Okay.
Not on my top 10.
And we're down to just a few, so I'm contemplating changing my number to 1.
Okay, my number 6, I'm going with a song that I think if anybody does singing in pubs, they should always start their top 10, start their gig with this. And I'm going for Mr. Blue Sky from ELO. It's one of those moments that as soon as this song starts and you have that dum 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 going, everybody loves that moment. Everybody loves that moment, and it doesn't matter whether you're pissed off, whether you're feeling ill. As soon as you hear that, it's one of the happiest songs I think I know. It just gets everything going, ready for a good night. So it was actually one of my first songs on the list when I was thinking of songs about with colour in the title. Now, are Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, are they a big thing in the US, or?
Sure.
They are?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for old people. But, that song got a resurgence because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
So now it's way more familiar to a lot of people that own that soundtrack. But I love that song. It almost made my list.
Almost.
I had to move it.
Ooh.
I had to move it for another song. I'll tell you which song I moved it to when I get there. But I love that song.
Yeah,
I love that whole soundtrack from Guardians Volume 1. I mean, that was on repeat in my house for the longest time, just over and over and over again.
Oh,
best songs.
Where you came and saw me play a couple of weeks ago, I did a whole night of 70s. Just 70s songs, and it was literally like doing the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. It was like every song was, this one's on there, this one's on there, this one's on there. Yeah, so it became almost like I should have just said it was a Guardians night, not a 70s night.
Yeah,
but,
that's right. That was a good choice. I support that one wholly.
Wonderful. Right, before we carry on now, it's time for the quiz.
Oh,
so it's time for this.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Right. Now, let me explain the rules.
Oh, my God. I'm so not prepared.
I'm going to give you the name of 2 acts, okay? And I'm going to give you a colour. You need to give me the names of the acts of each song that would, when mixed, would make that colour.
Okay. For the children in the audience, put them away. What the fuck are you saying?
So I'll give you the first one, okay? So I've got Coldplay and Taylor Swift. So now they've both had songs.
That would be red and yellow would be orange.
Correct. There you go. How simple is that?
Look it.
Yeah?
I'm smarter than the average bear if you had any doubts.
I'm going to give you the first one for that. So here we go with the number 2.
That was the last one I'm going to get right.
Here we go.
Okay.
So Eiffel 65 and the Beatles.
Okay, yellow and I don't know the other one.
If not, just have a guess and then see if you can mix them up together.
Green.
Is correct. Because Eiffel 65 is blue. Now, have you ever heard that song? I'm blue, da-ba-dee, da-ba-da, da-ba-dee, da-ba-da. I don't know why I'm doing that. But you got that right. So even if you guess, it doesn't matter. And the answer will be different. They could be the same. We could have the same color again. Anyway.
And no, the answer to your question is no. I do not know that song. You were just da-ba-dee, da-ba-doo, turning blue.
I'm sure it's been It's been in many movies. You would recognize. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. It's called.
Maybe it was just your version I didn't recognize.
Exactly. It's called Blue Dabba Dee. That's the name of the song. It's called that. So let me see if I can.
Oh, yes. I know that song.
You're going to tell me it's your number one now, aren't you?
No, but it's not. Ta-da! No, it's on. It was on my playlist though.
There you go. And then, and in a minute, when it kicks in, it'll sound just like it did when I just sang. It'll sound exactly like.
No, not at all.
Even with the movements as well.
No.
Anyway.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
There you go. See, it sounds exactly like the way I sang it.
And then if you do this, it makes it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, number 3. So we're going for Jefferson Airplane and AC/DC.
Gray.
It's correct. This woman is on fire. So Jefferson Airplane obviously is White Rabbit, and AC/DC Back in Black. Mix them together, they make Grey. So number 4, Elton John and New Order.
Oh, shoot. I want to say, I'm going to go Blue.
It's not. So Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and New Order, Blue Monday. Mix them together, they make Green.
Purple.
No, green.
Oh, green.
Okay.
I cracked myself up with how confident I am.
Okay, number 5, Billy Idol and Rolling Stones.
Gray.
Correct. Well done. Billy Idol, White Wedding, Rolling Stones, Paint It Black. Number 6, Dido and Soundgarden.
Dido. I'm going to say Black.
It's not, because Dido is White Flag and Soundgarden is Black Hole Sun. It's Grey again.
I just didn't want to guess the same answer. I wanted to be creative.
Don't worry, it could always be the same answer. Anyway, number 7, Madonna.
No.
Madonna and Prince.
Oh, shit. Shoot. Orange.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Wrong button. No, it's not.
Little red Corvette.
Yeah.
And Madonna's Gold, was it?
No, Madonna True Blue. It's purple. Number 8, Alana Miles and Weird Al Yankovic.
Only black and white. So white, and I'm going to have to say pink.
It's Grey again.
Damn it!
Alana Miles, Black Velvet, and Weird Al Yankovic, White and Nerdy. At number 9, UB40 and Joni Mitchell.
Red, white, red and Joni Mitchell. Red and pink.
No, it's orange. Red, Red Wine and Big Yellow Taxi. Red and yellow make. And the final one.
Oh, shit. Good. Okay.
Toby
Keith. I'm going to get right.
Toby Keith and Linda Ronstadt.
Okay. Little Red Cup and Blue Bayou. Purple.
Well done. That gives you 5. So you got 50% right. That's not bad. That's not.
It's really not bad. If you compare me with your prior guests, I'm pretty much up there.
You're pretty much up there, and I think that kind of worked as a quiz. It kind of worked.
It did. I had my serious doubts at the beginning, as I said.
Yes, exactly. Yes, as you said, I've got the promo code for the promo clip for the episode now. Okay, then back to the job in hand. Your number 5, then, please, Lisa.
Okay, number 5. Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues.
It's a great song. It very nearly made my top 10, but didn't quite get there. But
I'm concerned about our future. I really thought we'd have more in common. 1967, that song's been, in my opinion, relevant since 1967. And it's such a good song. #1 in Canada, #9 in the UK. It's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And the guy that wrote it, one of the band members, Justin Hayward, wrote it when he was 19 years old, after his girlfriend gave him a set of satin sheets.
Oh, saucy minx.
And yes, and he said, he meant for it to be a very personal song and a very personal love song. So I thought that was kind of sweet. And I absolutely love the Moody Blues.
Yeah.
I've never seen him perform live. I missed an opportunity not too long ago.
Right.
But they're amazing.
Go Now is my favorite one of theirs.
Which one?
Go Now.
Oh,
Go Now. And unfortunately, Denny Lane passed away not long ago. He was a member of the Moody Blues.
Just a couple of years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Great one though. That is just one of those classic tunes. It's an absolute classic.
Oh yeah.
Without a shadow of
So
a doubt.
here's something interesting. In the UK, it was number 19 on the UK charts, and in the US, number 103.
Wow.
I when I wrote it down and then I typed it out.
Yeah, nice.
And then I went and I thought, that can't be right. There's no way. And I went back and looked at it, and it was 103 in the US charts.
I can't believe
How does that happen?
I can't believe it wasn't a UK number 1. That it was only number 19.
It was 19 in the UK. It held number 1 in Canada, and then when it was reintroduced, let's see, held the number 2 spot in 1972 when it was re-released. Held the number 2 spot in the US, number 1 in Canada, and still number 9 in the UK.
Wow.
So that's as high as it's ever gotten.
That's
Isn't
crazy.
that interesting?
Yeah. If I'd have put money on, I'd have put money on the fact that it had been a UK number 1. So I'm really surprised with that.
And I guess this probably goes to show that, they're inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. And how do they get to that point when it's never gotten any higher than in the UK 9 and in the US 2? I think that's kind of astonishing.
Absolutely is. But that's a great song, though. That definitely should be it should be in the top 10. Lady in Red shouldn't be there. It should be Noticing What Is That. Sorry, Chris. I don't mean to have a go. Okay, my number 5. I'm going with a song by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. I'm going for Ebony and Ivory. So you get two colours for the price of one on this one.
Look, it's almost us. Ebony and Ivory.
Almost. And I'm trying to. Was it on the Pipes of Peace album? I can't remember which album it was on, but I can remember back when we were kids, me and my brother and my cousins, we used to do shows from our parents and our grandparents called the Wonder Kids Show, we were called. And you couldn't do it now because obviously with political correctness, but me and my brother, we did a piss take of Ebony and Ivory. And I'm glad that there weren't any photos or videos of it because I would get cancelled now because I was Stevie Wonder, and you can't do that kind of thing anymore. But it was crazy that was the kind of thing that you do for family entertainment those days. There was nothing on TV in those days, Lisa, in the UK. It was crazy.
But let's go back to you being cancelled. That's kind of.
Oh, there's plenty of times in my past that I look back now and go, my God, I'm glad that I was doing that when there were no cameras or phones around, because it was a different time. I think it's always the excuse people give. Well, it was a different time.
Yeah.
But you kind of think.
I mean, it was a different time.
It was.
I mean, I remember doing a show for my parents, my little sister and I, and we got on our knees and put shoes on our knees and pretended to be, little people.
Yeah.
Now you say little people or dwarves, but and we did a whole performance as little people, and I mean, it was in retrospect, what an awful thing.
Exactly. You wouldn't think, but at the time, it wasn't a thing to think about, was it? And
at the time,
I think it's quite right.
Maybe it's our parents.
Maybe
it's our parents' fault.
Maybe
they made us perform.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it's the fact that it was that I think it's good now that I look back on a couple of things that I've done and gone, and I get a shudder down my spine thinking, God, why did you do that? You know, because like you wouldn't do it now. You know, you wouldn't do those things now. And like I say, I just thank whatever it is up there that there wasn't camera phones at the time, because then I'd just be, oh, it'd be just shocking.
I get that shiver too sometimes when I think about guys I might have slept with. I'm like, oh, why did you do that? What were you thinking?
Oh,
all right, that's for the next show.
That's for the yes, top 10. Top 10 men that Lisa wished she hadn't slept with.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
We'll do that then.
Okay,
that's the next one. Woo! We'll book that one in.
Okay, that one in.
As long as there's famous people in there. I mean, obviously, we want there to be famous people, don't we?
Well, I did do a guy that after we had hung out a couple times, while we were in love, then he went to go tour with Radio Disney.
Oh.
And I did sleep with a drummer once from a punk band, and that people might know about, but yeah.
Was it Mick Fleetwood?
So, it was not. Mick Fleetwood was not in the punk band I was listening to.
Oh, punk band. Sorry, I didn't hear you said punk band. Okay.
Could you imagine him? It's like Tree.
I try not to. Okay, then, Lisa,
right,
you're number 4, please.
Did we do your number 5?
Yeah, Ebony and Ivory. Yes, we did.
Did you say anything about it, though?
Yeah, I said that I should have been cancelled, didn't I? So let's move on quickly before we.
It's all black. Yeah, it's all blank now. It is. Okay. So we're doing number 4?
Number 4, yes, please.
Okay, so number 4 is an emotional song for me. Not emotional like, ooh, but it's a song that really stirs up emotions.
Okay.
And it is by the Psychedelic Furs, Pretty in Pink.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that is the song that booted Mr. Blue Sky out.
Right.
So, they wrote the song Pretty in Pink, and then I think it was 1986, the film was released using the same name. They named the film after the song.
Yeah.
And, it was an interesting when they were talking about what the song was about. It was basically about a girl in a bar who was loose with her love, so to speak, and was rather proud of it. And meanwhile, the people in the bar were kind of making fun of her behind her back, for her promiscuity. So, but it's such a contrast to the film, right? Which is, I don't know, got someone from the wrong side of the tracks and somebody from the Richies, but I loved everything about that film. The sensation, the rejection, the devastation, the making it okay, doing your best, rising above, even though they broke your heart kind of thing. Everything about that's an anthem to me.
Right.
And then when I think of that last scene when she's leaving the prom and, when he's looking at her and he tells her he always loved her. And I was like, where can I get a guy like that? And Andrew McCarthy played Blaine, the refrigerator guy, and Appliance. And he was in an episode of Monk recently. I don't know if you get Monk in the UK, but oh my God, this is an old episode. I've gone back to watch it from the beginning again. And he played a really bad guy, like a murderer kind of guy.
Right.
And I just sat there and I thought, boy, this was a miscast. I mean, maybe you're trying to branch out and make money outside of, the old rom-coms that used to do, but it just didn't fit him. It didn't suit him because in my mind, he'll always be.
See, that's weird because we watched it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was. My wife was watching it, and then I sort of came in the last sort of half hour and watched it, and I finished it, and I thought that Molly Ringwald's. I thought, what a bitch. That it was. Is it Ducky? Is it Ducky? John Cryer's character.
John Cryer, Ducky. Yes.
But you can tell that he loves her and that he'll be really good to her. Yeah, she just sort of casts him off and then goes off with the rich guy. And I thought, oh my, that's a real bitchy thing to do. But I'm obviously seeing it from a different point of view, aren't I?
You're not. You're seeing it from the last half hour of the whole damn film.
That is true.
You definitely cannot judge anybody for 30 minutes of a film.
That is true. That is it. Why do I get the feeling I'm getting a right telling off now?
You think?
I suppose.
Wow.
Maybe I need to watch the whole thing, maybe.
Would you please? And then let's revisit this.
Okay, yeah.
So
We'll put a pin in that.
You know, and the music throughout that whole thing. But yeah, you got to start from the beginning,
Okay.
you know, and you got to see where Ducky's, you know, where their relationship comes from, and yeah, you have to see it from the beginning.
But it's also it's an amazing slice. It's an amazing slice of the 80s as well, though, isn't it? It's like every frame of that movie is like, if you say to the kids, "This is what the 80s were like," and it boom, it's all there in every frame of that movie. It's just 80s to the max. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great one.
There's a chance that Psychedelic Furs might be the one band I've seen the most.
Oh, really?
It's between them and English Beat. I mean, you know, I think so. Spencer pointed that out. He says, you know, we've seen them the most. And so I think there's a possibility I've seen them the most. They're great. Saw them a couple of years ago and they were amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's cool.
So, okay.
Okay. But that's another bit of homework. Watch Pretty in Pink from the start.
Watch the whole thing.
Okay.
How's that?
I will do. That's a good tip. Okay. My number 4. I'm gonna go with Silver Springs, Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. It's obviously had a resurgence now because of the TV show and the video of Stevie Nicks singing the song to Lindsey Buckingham live, and everyone doing TikToks on it saying, "Look at this woman making this guy having to listen to this song every night
over and over
after he broke her heart." But it's such a beautiful song, and Neil is a massive Stevie Nicks fan, and I've always sort of thought, no, I don't quite get it. But I've listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac over the last probably year or so, and you just think, oh my God, she's just got one of those voices that as soon as she starts singing, you know who it is. That nobody else has got a voice like that. And also this song as well. I mean, I don't think, did it actually make it onto the Rumours album? Was it like a extra track or something? I'm not quite sure. But it's just a banger of a track. Absolutely is.
Oh yeah, and the emotion behind it. When especially now with this new resurgence of people's interest in the relationship between the two of them, you can kind of see that. But I don't know, as a wronged woman, I'd love nothing more than to stand on a stage and yell those lyrics at somebody that hurt me
night after night.
I guess it. Yeah, over and over again. If I have to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, if you listen to most of her music, you can feel her emotion behind it. You can feel where it might have originated, some of the, the impressions that you get with some of her songs. But this one, that's a great song. I only didn't pick it because I thought silver was a metal, not a color. But whatever, it's your show.
But you'd have gold as a color, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I don't think I picked anything with gold, did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Never mind. Just kidding.
There you go. Okay, so that was I'm glad you think of silver as a color now, because I'd have been fucked for my number 3 as well. So, okay, what is your number 3, Lisa?
Okay, we couldn't have done this list without this song. It's by the Rolling Stones, released in 1966. I was 3 years old, for any of you doing the maths. And it is Paint It Black.
Okay.
So it is, just so you know, it's listed as one of the top 500 songs of all time in Rolling Stone. It's in the Hall of Fame. It's also on the list of songs that shaped rock and roll.
Right, I can see that. Yeah.
And so the other thing was that, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards get the credit on the album for writing the song. However, they did say that actually every band member contributed to the song.
Oh,
they just didn't cite them on the album. And then one of the things I thought was funny is they asked Mick Jagger about the song. They said, "Can you describe it?" And he said, "Yeah, it's kind of a Turkish song."
Kind of a Turkish song. Always reminds for some reason this is one of those like soundtrack of a Vietnam War. It's got one of those, for me, I think there must have been a movie that it had this song on the soundtrack. Now, I don't know whether it was Good Morning Vietnam or Platoon or something like that, but there's got to be one movie, because I know I hear it, or maybe it's just something that I, for some reason, joined together, and I don't know whether that's...
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's possible that that it would have been played in Platoon. I mean, it seems like, well, what 1966? When was the Vietnam War?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm not very good at history, Lisa.
Neither am I.
No,
I
that's okay.
suck.
Somebody will email
but let's
in.
just say that. Yeah, let's just say that it was in Platoon.
Yeah, there you go. It was, and if it wasn't, it should have been. It should have been.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, this isn't a spoiler for an episode coming up, but Painted Black didn't make my top 10 Rolling Stones songs. It didn't make it in there.
But there's a lot of good songs.
There's a lot of good songs.
Look at. I have so many Rolling Stones songs that I absolutely love. I love this one for what we're doing today.
Exactly.
Because when I play it, on that playlist I created, and I'm listening to it and I'm singing along, and and I know it. I know the song.
Yeah.
But I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Had it not been for our category, our subject today, I might not have selected.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I felt like historically it needed to be on there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, my number 3, and I'm going the same route as I did with number 4, but I'm going with the legend that is David Soul, and I'm going for Silver Lady at number 3 because... Oh, that's not Silver Lady, that's still Rolling Stones. I don't know whether he's underrated as a singer, David Soul. He was massive in the 70s in the UK. He had like 3 or 4 hits. He had at least 2 number ones. Maybe 3 number ones, I'm not quite sure. But he was massive, like sort of mid to late 70s in the UK. I'm not sure whether he was in the US when it came to his music.
Well, I think he got some of his notoriety, from Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
And I think that his musical career here played off similar to other bands that started from sitcoms like the Brady Bunch and all of those kind of people. So
more of a novelty kind of thing then.
Kind of like that, right? Yeah. And so I would say he probably didn't get his just due here. I think he was considered more country western here, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So I don't know. Did he just pass away?
Yes, he did, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah.
And so I think that there's a new interest in that. Plus, I think there was some mention of it recently on the Teabagger podcast. And so, but I probably didn't listen much to him back in the day. I like Starsky and Hutch, but
it was that time.
I don't remember.
1977 for some reason is a pivotal year for me. And I remember that he had a couple of massive hit songs in 1977 that I think it was this one, and then there was a slow one called Don't Give Up on Us. And what is a beautiful
Don't
song.
Give Up on Us, baby.
There you go. It's such
we still have one more chance
let's get the...
to prove to you. Okay.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Your number 2, please, then, Lisa.
Oh my God, number 2. White Shaded Pale.
Oh, okay. Didn't make my top 10, but no. I mean, I'd put that same as like Nights in White Satin. It's one of those classic tunes.
So this song, historically, or as far as recognition-wise, first of all, it's from 1967. Again, I was 3 years old. It was number 1 on the UK charts for 6 weeks. And then number 5 on the US because, we're a little slow to catch on. It has the most successful singles sold in history with 10 million copies.
Wow.
Worldwide. And it tied with Bohemian Rhapsody in the UK for the best British pop single ever. And at the Brit Awards or whatever those are called.
Yeah.
It made it in the Grammy Hall of Fame. 2004 recognizes the most played recording by British Broadcasting for the past 70 years.
Wow.
So in England, the song is like,
yeah.
much bigger than I would have thought. I would have thought in the US, it would have charted much higher. It is on the Rolling Stones 500 Greatest Songs of All Times, but I really would have told you that song was, an America in the U.S. charted as high as it did, but the UK seems to have loved this song.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't.
But
if I'd known you was going to come with all these facts, I wouldn't have bothered doing the facts at the start of the podcast. I would have just look at this. That's what I mean. That is almost erotic, seeing all those bits of typed up paper.
For both of us, this is my date later.
Well, all I can say is, can I watch? Is what I was going to say. That's great. I mean, it's a great song. It just didn't quite make my top 10, but it's definitely up there in regards to as an iconic piece of music. And then with lyrics that nobody has a clue what they mean.
No, so the Whiter Shade of Pale it was inspired by, he was at a party.
Right.
And some person at the party said to some woman there, "Wow, you're a whiter shade of pale." And he instantly thought to himself, that sounds like a good song.
Yeah.
And that's where it came.
That's where
and
that, just like I was saying earlier on, if he hadn't have been at that party, he wouldn't have heard that and then got the inspiration to go and make that song. And that song would never have been crazy.
75 years as the most played song in the UK. Jesus. For 75 years.
Yeah. For 75 years. How does that work when it's for 75 years? It came out in 1967, didn't it?
No, I think what they're saying, first of all, two things. I'm not that old. And I think what they're saying in comparison to songs for the last 75 years, it is the most played.
Yeah.
Woo, look at me doing maths.
Well done. And you said maths. You didn't say math. Oh, bless your heart. Okay, my number 2. This was a song that was a number 1 for me a couple of weeks ago when we did our top 10 Prince songs. And I'm going to go with Purple Rain as my number 2. Could have quite easily been my number 1 without a shadow of a doubt. But it just didn't quite make it. I've said enough about Prince on the top 10 Prince songs. But this is an absolute classic. I got nothing else to say about it.
Have you ever seen the performance at the Super Bowl?
Yes, I have.
Where he did the halftime show.
Oh my God!
And it's pouring rain.
It's something else.
And it was almost. I mean, if you have a belief in a higher being, it was almost if it was set up by a higher being to say, we're all coming together to make this the greatest performance ever.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. They recently did a poll on the best halftime shows, and I think it ranked in number 3.
Number 3. In my opinion, hang on. What were the 2 above it?
There might have been Beyonce was one, and I don't remember what the other one was, but it was number 3, and I was a little bit disappointed, but I kind of chalked it up to being more about who's voting, probably more of a younger audience,
right?
But I hands down would tell you, in my opinion, for me, that was the greatest halftime show, and that's the standard which all of them should rise to.
Yeah.
And it's devastating when he passed away, when he died. I just that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Part of it is I never saw him perform live.
Same.
Yeah. And that's such a shame on me for, skipping opportunities to go do that. But, I was mildly interested in him, but and then as I've gotten over the years to recognize his music better, he's just astonishing.
Yeah.
He did a Grammy performance. I can't remember the name of Play My Guitar,
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Guitar, yeah.
That to me is it's the greatest moment in rock history is when he comes on and does that instrumental.
Yes. It's. Do you know, Pop? I probably watch that a dozen times a year.
Yeah.
I'll just go and find it on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah.
And the thing that's even more mind blowing to me is the other people in the band who have the same recognition as he does, and they're looking at him like this guy is untouchable as far as his talent and ability. It's a loss.
Yes.
Let me just say that.
It is. And it's also the fact that he was so just the amount of material that would come out of him. And I know that they've said that at Paisley Park, and that there are literally hundreds of songs that still haven't been released because he would just record and record and record. But it's just what sort of stuff would he be writing now? And as he got older, what kind of stuff would he be doing? And it was just, it's just such a shame.
I had a friend, she was featured in Pretty in Pink.
All right.
she was loose with her love, but she was kind of briefly dating. We like to say dating here. A band member from Motley Crue. I can't remember which one it was.
Right.
Anyway, they had gone out to an event and seen some music. Maybe Motley Crue performed or whatever. And she was in the limo, and they asked her, "Oh, we're going over to Prince's house. Do you want to go?" And she's like, "Sure." So she went, and he, just like you hear everybody tell the stories, you go down to the basement and every musician there plays. And she said 3, 4, 5 in the morning, they're all up there, including Prince, just playing their hearts out.
Really?
And, I think about that moment often. Like, what would I have done? First of all, yes, I would have slept with the guy in Motley Crue, whatever it takes to get to see Prince. Or anybody, the limo driver. I would have slept with the limo driver. But you have these opportunities, once in a lifetime opportunities come up, and I think about that often. Wow.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
Exactly.
That's a great song, great choice.
Exactly. Okay. So before we reveal our number ones, Lisa, do you want to give us a countdown from 10 to 2, and then I'll do the same?
Okay. And do you need a dramatic pause in between?
No, you're fine. You just fire away, my dear.
Okay. Number 10 was La Vie en Rose. Number 9 was Gold on the Ceiling by Black Keys. Number 8, Blue Bayou, sung either by Roy Orbison or Linda Ronstadt. White Wedding by Billy Idol. Number 6 was Black Hole Sound by Soundgarden. Number 5, Nights in White Satin by Moody Blues. Number 4, Pretty in Pink by the Psychedelic Furs. That Pop's going to go back and watch the whole movie and not make judgment after watching only 30 minutes.
I will.
Number 3 is Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. And number 2 is Whiter Shaded Pale by Procol Harum.
Thank you very much. Mine is number 10, Lady in Red, Krista Burr. 9, White Wedding by, I was going to say Bon Jovi. Why am I saying Bon Jovi?
That's quite the version.
Oh, dear me.
Jump!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
White Wedding by Billy Idol. Number 8, Black or White by Michael Jackson. 7, Red Rain, Peter Gabriel. 6, Mr. Blue Sky, ELO. 5, Ebony and Ivory, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. 4, Silver Springs, Fleetwood Mac. 3, Silver Lady, David Soul. And number 2, Purple Rain by Prince. So, Lisa, what is your number 1 song with a colour in the title?
My number 1 song is Purple Rain by Prince.
Oh, oh, we've got 2 the same then.
Yeah, yes, we got 2. We didn't quite, like, if I had changed to 1, we would have been tied, right? But yeah, so we, for all the reasons that we just talked about, those all the notes that you and I just discussed. Those are all the notes. The only thing that I could add to that was that when he originally wrote the song, he had intended to collaborate with Stevie Nicks.
Really?
And so he sent her over the instrumental version of the song, about a 10-minute portion of the song, basically, and sent it over to listen to. And she called him and said, "I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared, and I can't do it."
Oh, wow.
And so he had asked her to write the lyrics, and she just said she couldn't do it.
Oh, my God.
So, he brought it back in studio, and then that's where it, then it moved from being a country western song, which is kind of what his intent was at the beginning.
Right.
Because he was a very prolific writer as well for other artists. It moved from that into the version that we know today. And thank goodness, in my opinion, thank goodness that Stevie Nicks knew better than take that challenge on. So. Yeah. Great song. Love it.
Fantastic. Okay, my number 1 was another number 1 in the top 10 that we done for my Elton John top 10, and it's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road I'm having for my number 1. It could have been very easily, Purple Rain for me, but I love Elton John, and I love this song. Yeah. It's just as epic, I think, as Purple Rain. but I'm going to have that. It was a coin flip. It was just a coin flip for me. Easily could have been Purple Rain, and this one as well. And I've said really all I need to say. Listen to the Elton John episode for that one. I'll have it playing in the background. You're an Elton John fan, Lisa, I would assume?
Oh, of course. I mean, who isn't?
What's your favorite Elton John song?
But what's that Crocodile Rock one?
Crocodile Rock, yeah.
No, actually, my favorite. You know, one of my favorite songs is his collaboration with Kiki D.
Oh yeah, don't
go
breaking
break
my heart.
My heart. Yeah, I really love that song. So, you know, just to brag a little bit, but one of my close friends is the company that puts on Elton John's annual Oscars.
Oh,
party.
Right. Which would have happened the weekend just gone recently. as we record this. Yeah.
So he's done the Elton party for years and years and years and years. And I always think that I should suck up to him a little bit, see if I can get invited. I don't have the same wily charms he's looking for. He's more interested in maybe your wily charms over mine.
Yes.
But he said he's just an amazing guy. He's just, he's a gift every time. And then his husband is just as nice, just as sweet, and he loves doing the event every year. So I'm going to work my way in.
He's one of those people. I feel like Paul McCartney as well, is that when he goes, it'll be a really, really sad day.
Oh.
It's going to be just, which I don't want to think about, obviously, but
no. He played his last concert in the US and up at LA, and it was recorded. I didn't go to it. It was recorded, but I watched it from beginning to end, and I probably cried through the whole thing.
It was so good. It was so good. It
was amazing.
I mean, the voice isn't as flexible as before, but when you compare him to, say, I've said it a million times, like you listen to like John Bon Jovi now, where his voice is shot, or there's certain other people, and you think it's crazy when you think of what his body's been through. With the drink and drugs and God knows what, he still sounds pretty fantastic considering what his body's been through. So,
But I'm going to put in a plug for Engelbert Humperdinck in case anybody didn't know who he was. He still sounds as good as he did.
Does he really? Engelbert Humperdinck. Oh my goodness! Please release me. That was Engelbert Humperdinck, wasn't it?
Please release me, let me go.
I'll have to add that one to the repertoire next time I see you then, Lisa.
Oh my God. Oh, he does something for me. He does it.
Oh, Engelbert. We've got some honourable mentions. I'll run through these ones. Carol Barwick said, I'm assuming True Colours is cheating. I mean, I don't know. Would we class that one as cheating? It says colours.
Well, it was on my list.
Oh, was it on? There you go.
So.
We'll have that one.
Let's
Darren Brown says Little Red Corvette. Mary Jane Sims, Paint It Black by the Stones. Tracy Foote, Yellow by Coldplay, Paint It Black, both good songs. Corey Ogilvie, Damien Rice's Colour Me In. Glenn Moorman, Silver Machine. Simon Duffield, Gold, Tan, Peach and Grey by Bodies of Water. Simon, he always does that. He always picks these obscure ones.
Yeah.
And Fields.
Simon needs to get a life.
He does. And Fields of Gold by Sting. Elisa
Or
Schaefer.
at least get into the top 40, Simon.
Indeed. Elisa Schaefer says Colour of Love by Billy Ocean and True Colours, Cyndi Lauper. John Nichols, Black Dog by Led Zeppelin. Tammy Trimble, Pink Houses by John Cougar Mellencamp. Kim Thomas Simons, White a Shade of Pale, Procol Harum. Moonshine Kelly, Stella Blue, Grateful Dead. Jodie Yokota, Blue, Big Bang. Ooh. And Nikki.
Ding.
Lisa's excited now. Nikki Dennis says, is rainbow a colour? I'll repeat my answer to the Stones question. She's a rainbow. Otherwise, Paint It Black. Also Stones. And she says, Pavo, also, I love the Flaming Lips song, which I thought was called Tangerine, but the real title is She Don't Use Jelly. So instead, I'll add Tangerine by Tommy Dorsey in 1941. Why so soon? Which was also a disco hit in the 70s, and it is a bop. She don't use jelly. We need to find that one out, Lisa. We need to find that one.
That's a ding. That's a whole other
That is an
podcast.
absolute ding. Dan the Man Harper said Red Barchetta by Rush, The Red by Chevelle, Fields of Gold by Sting, Red Rain by Peter Gabriel, Big Yellow Taxi by Counting Crows. Yeah, I said it. He says in there. Black by Pearl Jam, Back in Black AC/DC, Pink Cadillac by literally everyone, Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix, White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, and a bonus, Perfect Strangers by Deep Purple. That is cheating a little bit there, Dan the Man.
That is cheating a little bit, Dan.
That is. Martin Wood says Rainbow in the Dark by Dio, Corinne Pastor, A Few Are Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison, White Wedding, Billy Idol, Back to Black by Amy Winehouse, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Matt Nooks Crannies. That's got to be a made-up name.
Ding.
Ding, indeed. True Colours and Colours by Black Pumas. Dale Fanstone, Silver Lady by David Soul. Paul Osgood, Blue Monday. Karen Clark, Mess of Blues by Elvis Presley. So there you go.
Wow.
Oh, I almost felt like I was going to sneeze then. There's a sneeze in the back of my nose.
Those were some brilliant additions. That song by Puma.
Black Pumas.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Colors.
Yeah.
It's on my regular rotation. It's one of the songs I listen to all the time. I love that song.
Is it? Did you have some other honorable mentions on your list?
Back to Black,
right.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Orange Crush by R.E.M.
Oh, great tune.
Those were two, and then Mr. Blue Sky, because I moved him off the list to put on Pretty in Pink, which was from a phenomenal movie that you only saw half an hour of, and you decided to make some type of critique without knowing the whole story. But I'm not holding a grudge.
No.
And I'm going to allow you some time to redeem yourself.
Thank you. And then we'll do top 10 moments from Pretty in Pink. That'll be another one that we'll do. Yeah.
Oh, I got them all already. Annie Potts.
Right, before we actually say our goodbyes, just let everybody know you can come and join us on social media at Top 10 Pods. Email us at top10pods at top10pods@hotmail.com. Come and join us on the Patreon to support the Patreon. Oh, see what I mean? Like, I can't do this. Neil does this. I'm still not used to this. Yeah, patreon.com/top10pods, and you can come and be a guest just like Lisa.
Like me.
And yes, and come and have some fun and swear with us and talk about sex and God knows what and who we've slept with and who we haven't slept with and all that kind of stuff. Come and get merch and all that kind of stuff. Buy us a coffee. It's all in the show notes. So there you go. Lisa. Oh, look, she's even got a badge there. Look, that's the amazing badge you can get if you are one of our top of the tower Patreon top heads. Bless you. I mean, I want to say, Lisa, thank you, as always. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being such a wonderful person to me as well, because genuinely, like, to meet you, it felt like I was meeting a superstar when we met in November. And so, yeah, I just want to say thank you just for your support and kind words and just being there. I always know that if I need to speak to somebody, if I just, I know that you're always there. So our friendship is something that I treasure dearly. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I don't have that many words. I just want to say thank you for being my friend.
Oh, I love you so much.
I adore
Lisa.
you.
I love you so much. And here's to August is all I'll say for that. And
can't wait.
We'll let everybody know what's going on in another time or whatever. But yes, so thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the countdown.
Okay.
Yay!
Love you all.